Ford and GM are hiding something, a massive $12 billion scandal. It's the kind of disaster they never wanted the public to see. Billions lost in electric car projects, engines designed with flaws, recalls piling up by the day. And here's the shocking part. Instead of fixing the problems, they tried to bury them. In reports, in numbers, even in silence. But the truth is finally coming out, and it could change the entire auto industry forever. Today, we uncover how two of America's biggest car companies created a $12 billion nightmare. A scandal that could cost them their future, and leave millions of drivers holding the bill. Stay with me, because this story is bigger than you think. Let's start with the facts. Ford and GM are facing one of the biggest financial disasters in automotive history. In just the last 2 years, both companies have lost more than $12 billion combined. Most of that came from their push into electric vehicles, cars that cost more to build than they could ever sell them for. Ford's F-150 Lightning was supposed to be the future. Instead, it turned into a money pit. Each truck cost tens of thousands more to produce than its sticker price. Every single sale, a massive loss. GM's Ultium program was no better. Delays, defects, and battery shortages that shut down entire assembly lines. What was meant to be innovation became chaos. But it doesn't stop with electric vehicles. Both companies are struggling with their gasoline engines too. Faulty designs, massive recalls, engines failing long before they should. One example, GM's 3-liter Duramax diesel. Promising engine on paper, but plagued with failures that cost owners thousands. Ford isn't much different, with EcoBoost problems that drivers have complained about for years. Together, these issues have drained billions in warranty claims and repair costs. Money that Ford and GM simply don't have to lose. And the damage doesn't end with finances. Dealers are drowning in unsold cars. Lots filled with vehicles nobody wants. Customers are turning away. And competitors like Toyota, Tesla, and even Hyundai are stealing market share. The bottom line? Ford and GM are bleeding money at a rate that can't continue. $12 billion gone, factories running at a loss, and two legendary American brands suddenly on the edge of collapse. But here's the real scandal. They didn't tell you the full story. They tried to hide it. And that takes us to the next part. When a company loses billions, you'd expect honesty, clear answers, a plan to fix the mess. But Ford and GM did the opposite. They covered it up. Instead of telling investors the real numbers, they buried them, tucked away in quarterly reports, hidden in vague language, and delayed for months at a time. Ford claimed temporary challenges. GM said supply chain disruptions. But insiders knew the truth. This wasn't temporary. This was collapse in slow motion. Whistleblowers started to speak. Employees inside both companies revealed shocking details. Canceled projects worth billions. EV lines sitting idle because the batteries weren't ready. Warranty claims spiking faster than anyone admitted. One GM insider even said, "We are building cars we know will come back broken, but leadership doesn't care." Think about that. Cars rolling off assembly lines, already doomed to fail. Meanwhile, executives collected bonuses. Stock buybacks continued, and the public was told everything was fine. But it wasn't fine, and cracks began to show. Ford's Lightning production was paused multiple times. Entire factories shut down because of battery fires. GM delayed new models again and again, making excuses that nobody believed. Even dealerships noticed. They were stuck with cars they couldn't sell. Some demanded answers, but corporate leadership gave none. And when journalists asked tough questions, Ford and GM dodged. "We're confident in our strategy. We are investing in the future." Buzzwords, but no substance. Behind the scenes, billions vanished. Customers waited months for repairs. Engines sat on backorder. And investors started asking where the money went. This wasn't just bad business. It was deception, a deliberate attempt to hide the scope of failure. And that's the scandal. Not just the $12 billion lost, but the lies told to keep it quiet. So, This scandal isn't just about money. It's about you, the driver. Because if you bought a Ford or a GM in the last 5 years, you could be holding a ticking time bomb. Engines designed with weak parts, batteries that fail in the cold, transmissions that don't last half as long as promised. Take Ford's EcoBoost engines. On paper, they look efficient and powerful. But in reality, owners report blown head gaskets, oil leaks, and repairs costing thousands, often before the car even hits 60,000 miles. GM isn't any better. Their 8-speed automatic transmissions are infamous, shuddering, slipping, and sometimes failing completely. One repair can drain a family's savings overnight. And let's talk about resale value. A new car should be an investment you can trust. But Ford and GM vehicles are losing value faster than ever. Trucks and SUVs that once sold for top dollar now sit on lots with heavy discounts. Some owners are underwater on their loans, owing more than the car is even worth. Even electric owners aren't safe. Ford Lightning batteries have failed in winter conditions, leaving drivers stranded. GM Bolt owners faced recalls over fire risks. Imagine buying a brand new EV, only to be told it's unsafe to park in your own garage. Worse, repair shops are overwhelmed. Parts are on backorder for months. Engines, batteries, and transmissions sit in warehouses while customers wait. And while you wait, payments keep coming. Insurance doesn't stop. Your family is left without a reliable car. Meanwhile, executives at Ford and GM still cash their paychecks. They aren't the ones paying $8,000 for an engine replacement, or watching their $60,000 truck drop to $30,000 in value. That pain falls on the customer. For millions of owners, this isn't just a corporate scandal. It's a betrayal. But here's the bigger question. What happens next? Because the storm is far from over, and the future of Ford and GM might be darker than anyone realizes. The numbers don't lie. Ford and GM are running out of time. $12 billion already gone. Factories losing money with every car they build. And customers walking away in record numbers. Experts warn the worst is still to come. If sales keep falling, Ford and GM will be forced to make brutal choices. Entire factories could shut down. Tens of thousands of workers could lose their jobs. And dealerships might vanish from small towns across America. Imagine driving past a once busy Ford lot, now filled with unsold trucks. Dust collecting on brand new cars that nobody wants. That's not science fiction. It's already happening in some areas. And it could get even worse by 2026. If demand keeps collapsing, Ford and GM could be sitting on millions of unsold vehicles. An inventory nightmare worth hundreds of billions. Meanwhile, competitors aren't slowing down. Toyota is still profitable. Hyundai and Kia are stealing market share with affordable hybrids. Tesla continues to dominate the EV space. So while Ford and GM struggle to stay alive, other automakers are growing stronger every month. And here's the part that terrifies investors. If Ford or GM stumble too far, bankruptcy isn't impossible. We've seen it before. GM filed once in 2009. Could happen again. Even if they survive, the damage to their brands may be permanent. Consumers don't forget being betrayed. A family burned by one bad Ford engine may never buy another Ford again. A GM owner stuck with a useless EV battery may switch to Toyota for life. And once that trust is gone, no amount of marketing can buy it back. The truth is simple. Ford and GM are gambling their futures. And right now, they're losing. The question is, factories may close, dealers may vanish, and millions of drivers could be left paying the price for corporate mistakes. So here's the question. Can Ford and GM survive this disaster? Or is this the beginning of the end for two American icons? I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you still trust Ford and GM? Would you buy one of their cars today? And if you want to stay ahead of the next big story shaking the car market, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next will shock you even more.